my best friend to 23. She left her body and hovered above me. I saw no shadow, I looked around, searched every building and home that I found. I saw no shadow, but felt a glow. The warmth inside me, it kept me afloat. It felt like heaven had found my bones and gave me comfort when I feel alone. Now you're gone, I'm alone. I guess it's time to get better. Through the pain, I will go alone. If I fall, break my bones, I will scream even louder. 'Cause I'm not dying alone. I lost my best friend to 23. She left her body and hovered above me. My best friend to 23. I heard the heavens crying above me. They gained an angel, I lost a friend. I felt like dying again and again. I went through hell, stared at death, but I keep fighting with each living breath. I saw no way out from where I stood. Felt like the fire had burned me through. Now you're gone, I'm alone. I guess it's time to get better. Through the pain, I will go alone.
Way. What's up, nerds? We're in the same office today. Kind of weird. If you could just crumple that right here.
Wow. It actually is really weird. I rolled in so hot. I was doing 190 down Jeff's like back road, hoping I didn't get deleted by a deer.
I live in the country on dirt roads, so that was probably an adventure. I know, I've been there. So today we're talking cheap versus expensive stuff, and right now, Paul, I don't know, you're not going to show any of that stuff, are you?
I can't.
All right, good.
He literally goes,
"Oh no,
I got a box.
There's a secret box.
I got a box from our friends at the old Bait Finesse Empire, which I'm sort of like striking up like a good." I think friendship with the folks.
The big friggin' scam empire.
The big scam empire. Look at this.
These guys are amazing, by the way, you guys. If you haven't shopped there yet, you guys definitely.
He typed up a whole letter, a whole 2-pager.
They'll screen grab. You can't show that.
And look, he just goes, he sent me some baits and this is all it says. And because I already know, he told me, he's like, you can't show these until after iCAST. So I have 2 baits that will be available on the old scam empire. And but we're not allowed to show them to you for a couple of weeks.
Fair enough. So Bait Finesse Empire, definitely check them out. Oh no way. Okay. No, Chaz, you trickster. You guys, I can't wait to show you guys these things. They're gonna be amazing. All right, but today we're not talking about BFS. Because it's obviously a scam. Everybody does. We love it. It's great. And today we're talking about cheap versus expensive everything across the board. So if you watched the Monday video, you saw us do, the unboxing of the shopping video we did a couple weeks ago. Cheap versus expensive topwater baits. So specifically like all topwater. And that got me thinking. I was like, we should just do a whole podcast on, do you spend up or do you underspend on all these specific areas of fishing? So it could be anything from your kayaks, kayak accessories, apparel, to obviously lures. Rods, reels, not off the table. We're talking about that today too. So we want to go through what we want to hear from you guys in chat is, where do you spend up and where do you spend down? You're like, I will always buy budget. Like, that's it. Budget stuff, clearance bin. I don't care. I'm getting frogs. It's always from the clearance bin. Or it's always from that top shelf, that gray goose, that good. I want to know. We want to know. Let's find out. And the reason we're both in the same room is because we're filming after this. Because you're going to the cabin on the weekend.
I'm going to be gone for 5 days. I've
July 4th week.
already edited Friday's video. Yeah. I already filmed next Friday's video. And then the Friday after that, we're going to be at iCAST. So we have to
get it way ahead.
We have to get ahead so that you guys don't, gap out on the YouTube.
It's going to be a rough week of just trying to plow ahead on edits and filming.
I filmed Monster Bass. I'm like, dude, my wife's going to kill me, but I'm on top of my game.
You're not divorced yet, but like
we just started.
Teetering on the edge. We're beginning the conversation.
We need that sound bar. Living on the edge. Yeah,
we'll work on that. So yeah, we're trying to get ahead on all that stuff. Obviously, iCAST is coming up very soon, and we will be there. So that's going to be exciting. We're going to go live from that on Instagram. We're going to probably post some videos while we're there. So we're going to fly. We're going to edit. We're going to post. We're going to like do whatever we can.
We already talked to some folks. So we talked to like Do It Molds. We're going to see them.
We'll be there.
Scam Finesse Empire. I can't keep saying that. It's really bad. Bait Finesse
Empire, amazing people, amazing company.
I would just have to be really, really clear about that. Like it's a very, hopefully, is a very obvious joke. I really like those folks. And then TFO
we're going to talk to. We've got all our friends there. Everybody.
There's more than that, but there's Akuma, quite a few. Yeah.
Obviously, we're going to the Akuma booth. Akuma has been amazing both years, 2 years in a row now. One we didn't even show up for, but they bought us passes both years. So this year it's on Akuma, the passes, and we'll spend a little bit of time at their booth. Yep. And then we got the On the Water Day. You guys, we're gonna make it for the On the Water Day, which iCAST is pumping up right now. They're gonna have a beer tent there. They're gonna
regret that so hard.
They're gonna have like 70 vendors.
Why did we do that?
It's gonna be nuts. So we'll be there for the On the Water Day. We missed that in 2021, so I'm very excited about that. That's gonna be awesome. So yeah, I mean, let's get back into this. I think, and then also next week we'll do the announcement for the winners for this month, Knucklehead Bass Series.
48 hours.
48
remaining
hours until this month is up.
Yes.
Knucklehead Bass Series. So Knucklehead is almost over. You got 48 hours.
And you get to end it on a weekend. Mm-hmm. Dude, that's clutch. That's like the last minute, like last ditch effort.
Yeah. So go blow it up on Friday. Is that the last day?
You know what? I have another update. Yes. You guys will see this on the video on Friday. I have no kayak. I'm not a kayak angler. Yeah. I'm not.
Old Bank McGee over here.
Yeah, my very large, expensive kayak is having problems. I cannot get a return message from Old Town or from Old Town. They would call me back. I have not got a return message from Hobie. I've emailed them 3 times. Yeah. I have called them every day, three different times throughout the day, and I have yet to get them pick up. It's always user busy. I could not be more upset right now. Like it's been weeks.
If you wanted to say something to Hobie.
If I could say one thing to Hobie, I would say, sirs, I have worked in customer service.
Or ma'ams.
Or ma'ams.
Or persons.
Or dogs. And you know what? I haven't gotten a bark out of you. And it's like, what are we doing here?
No treat for you.
And I mean, they're going to make me spend $1,000 on a new drive. So
they're literally stonewalling.
But you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to prioritize buying a Crescent Shoaly.
And you're going to bench the Hopester.
Before I go and spend for a pedal drive. That's what I'm going to do. And I will go F off on the Hobie, and I will go, I don't know, H off. I will be happy off in the Crescent. I don't know, but that's what I'm gonna do. Honestly,
no, just don't say any more off.
All right.
Nope. Anyways, so yeah, dang it, Hobie, figure it out. Like,
well, I was like, okay, I get it. Like, I started on a Thursday or Friday. Like, totally understand. Sent the emails. Like, hey, maybe they'll get me an email. At some point, it's been 2 weeks.
Yeah,
and I've been hounding them.
That's ridiculous.
It is kind of effed up.
All right, Hobie, figure it out. Come on, man. That's ridiculous. They did hook me up.
Well, I did also drive to the same dealer you did down to Indiana. Took a day off work, drove 2.5 hours down there.
Mm-hmm.
Dude had no idea what to do. He's like, well, I'm just going to call Hobie and send him videos and stuff. And I was like, well, I can do that. And then I won't have to like drive back here probably in 2 weeks or whatever.
Yeah.
So I kept it thinking, well, I'll do this. Yeah, now I'm going to have to go to Lansing to that dealer and have them send it in and then have them tell me I have to buy another one anyways because it's out of warranty. Unreal.
Yeah, I don't know. With this runaround, though, like they got to do something for you, I would say. All right, so let's dive in. Let's do a little Q of the D, warm this thing up, and then we're going to be talking about the cheap and the expensive. And again, like I want to hear from you guys during the chat as we throw out, different types of lures, different categories of baits. I want to know where you guys stand on this. Is this a category you're going to spend up or down on? And if you're going to spend up or down, what is like the go-to? If you're just like, you know what, I stand behind it. Dick's Sporting Goods, Jawbone, Craw Crank, #1 bait of all time.
Everyone said the Max Popper from
the Pop Max,
the
Mega Bass Pop Max.
Everyone.
Yeah,
they were coming up to bat.
If you're gonna spend up on something,
they were ready to Gary Sheffield us into the moon, hit us with the bat, like mega swing over the Pop Max. Yeah,
I love it. All right, so yeah, let's jump in with the Q of the D.
All right, at what age does, I like to think a man, but any person, at what age do you believe that you just, in general, give up on looking cool and or good? Like, when are you just like, it's not worth it? Like, let me put it this way. I've noticed there's like the last like 6 months, some new trends are on the horizon. White shoes is a big deal, right? 90s white shoes, that's a thing. Baggy pants are back, baby. Baggy shirts with a single pocket, they're hot now. And good looking hair is all back. I don't have any of those things.
Good looking hair back?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
I don't think I've taken off this hat in 7 years.
Exactly. So it's like,
who needs hair?
When are you, and I've realized, I've come to terms, like, I'm not gonna go out and buy like nice K-Swiss white tennis shoes. I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna be like, you know what?
Is K-Swiss nice?
Yeah, now it is.
Is K-Swiss nice?
Now they are. They're cool now. Whatever. I'm not going to go buy like a chunky pair of white tennis shoes. Sure. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to go and be like, every pair of pants that I buy now has to be straight leg. Like, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. I just gave up. I'm like, this is my dad look for the rest of time now. So for me, the age was 30, 35.
I have been wearing sweatpants since I started as a personal trainer. So 18.
Oh, come on. No, you bought nice clothes between now and then.
Nope, I have not. If you go into my closet, so
you bought no pants. You were like, oh, I'll just wear sweatpants forever.
Yeah.
You don't own any jeans.
I own 2 pairs of jeans, and they are stretchy waisted.
Exactly. So you bought
they're sweatpants that are jeans.
Sweens. Jets. I like that.
Jets.
Let
me grab my Jets.
I wear some Jets.
Hang on, babe. We're going out. Let me get my Jets.
So I would like to, we can't fill in the blank, but everyone's saying 35-ish? 41 says Stephen Elmer.
A lot of 30s.
50? I would like to see how David is dressing. He's probably super trendy.
Crushing it.
Yeah.
Brown Bacon says 80.
80. I am. Well, you're 5, so it might as well be 35. Might as well be 80.
Dude, Brennan, you're gonna give up way before that. Trust me.
I gave up. I mean, realistically, I just got lucky that the millennial skinny jean or the trim jeans hung on for as long as they did. Because really, it was 27.
Because you had a closet.
I gave up at 27, 28. But it just looked okay because everyone thought that the dad look was okay. But now it's a dad look, and now it's like if you were walking around a college campus. You're not wearing crop tops? Get the hell out of here,
So I tend to prefer the Zoom look. I'm currently wearing sweat shorts.
Yeah.
Because down here, don't care. It's below the desk.
Honey.
Everything above the desk is it's fine.
You know how I knew it was bad?
What?
I went to go buy, my wife was like, you need new shoes. Your shoes are
when
nasty.
Your wife tells you.
I knew it. And it's these ones. I knew they were bad. And so I was like, okay, I'm gonna go get some new shoes. We go to I was just gonna go to any store.
Yeah.
And I was just black, sure, whatever. I just need black shoes or whatever. And I need 1 pair. Haley's like, no, you have to buy 2 pairs.
Why?
No, you don't. And then she was she was like, oh, look at these ones. I'm like, how about Vans? And she's like, fine, whatever.
Are Vans still a thing?
So I just bought black Vans and tan Vans, and I'm out. And that was the game. That was the game.
You rock the black and tans. I love it.
Black and white, tan and tan. Yeah, dog.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
So I gave up. 35.
All right, I gave up forever ago. I never cared.
Well, you'll find out soon enough.
I haven't seen them in person yet.
That's why I said.
Listen. So we're gonna do the Timo unboxing tonight, and then we're gonna post it on Monday. So that's the plan. I do have a fishing video. I'm just gonna hold it for when we're gone. But I have a Topwater only video that I did. I had a banging day. You had a banging day.
I have a nice Topwater vid that's gonna be coming, but mine was ultralight, just ultralight.
So we have mostly buzzbait, and then I figured out this micro frog thing. And then he took the micro frog to the next level and did this whole BFS thing.
I got like, I probably had, I know I had like 20 catches, but I'll probably include 10 on the video. And like 3 or 4 of them were like some chunky boys. And actually the rock bass were like so angry.
The Jason Statham.
Oh, Statham.
Yeah. So I took the micro ribbit that Raka actually sent us, and I put it on the Hobbit hook from Ryugi, and it was just this little, like, you guys throw weightless plastics. I had to put a 1/32 ounce Texas weight on it just so I could cast it, because you can't go weightless very well on BFS.
We are about to film a video about BFS, like cheap versus expensive. I'm here to tell you, the Sonoya Dark Wolf with no upgrades and minimal dialing can throw that weightless.
I'm excited to try this
with 10-pound braid.
All right, so let's jump in. Let's talk about cheap versus expensive.
I'm ready.
Do you tend to prefer? Let's just do it overall, right? So chat, put a poll up, Chaz. Let's do this. So chat, you got to tell me. Just in general, you look at fishing stuff, you're like, all right, I walk into Dick's Sporting Goods, I walk into Bass Pro. Do I like lean towards the clearance rack, the bottom shelf stuff, or am I leaning towards the where's that Mega Bass like mid-floor rack that Bass Pro always has? I go find that. Where are my Vision 110s at? Where do you go, cheap or expensive? Just in general. So let's get that poll.
I need to clarify though. So expensive, expensive would be like the top 10% in price.
Yep.
Cheap would be maybe not like the cheapest, but like lower on the value scale. Like lower, like not value, cheaper.
Here's your example. You go to we'll talk about frogs we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
You look at frogs and you're like, $10 on a frog, that's no big deal. Then you lean towards expensive.
Yes.
If you're like $10 on a frog, that's ridiculous. And you go cheap.
I can get for $3, I can get the jawbone frog.
Yeah, if you look at if you even spend 5 seconds at the jawbone end cap on Dick's Sporting Goods, you are leaning cheap, my friends. And that's okay.
No judgment whatsoever.
We are not here to judge you.
If you're a fishing rod guy and you've got the whole lineup of GX2s, hey, no judgment, but you're on the cheap side.
You got those Mega Bass rods. You're grabbing the Daiwa Zillion immediately, and then you're going to get another one in 6 months. You're expensive. If you saw the Daiwa Zillion's price and you were like, and you had a heart attack,
they made that.
You go cheap.
Who did they make it for?
Right? That's what I don't know. So far, it's about 50-50.
Whoa.
It's real close, man.
This is great. Whoa.
It is 50-50.
Good stuff. I like it.
And that makes sense, I think, for our audience, because like we don't unbox only expensive or only cheap.
No.
I mean, we shop on Temu. What's wrong with us? But like, oh, I'm sorry. Hang on. Delayed reaction. I mean, like, you guys, that reel is in a bag downstairs. Like the reel that music came from. I'd like to believe that music created that reel. So. Like that music was AI that fabricated a reel.
How did you generate this? Well, we played this song with many speakers at full volume for weeks.
People play music to grow plants. Like they played music to get a 3D
Everyone
printer.
in the factory is just like. I like it.
I love it. All right. So survey says, wow. Clearance or cheap stuff, 51%, expensive, 48%. Again, totally respect.
Respect all answers. Respect the Ugly Stick Juniors and the Mega Bass Destroyers.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, do your own. Here's the one rule that we do have. Let's say you go all expensive. You're like, I'm rocking the Mega Bass rods. I got the Daiwa Zillion. I'm doing all this stuff, right? You don't then talk trash to somebody who enjoys fishing cheap stuff.
Not in my house.
And
not in this house.
Vice versa. Yeah. Why would you ever spend that amount of money? Like, let people do what people want to do. Like, we've always said that on our channel. And any of the losers in the comments that say otherwise, we boot them out. So that's a rule. Just be kind to each other. Is that so hard? It's not that hard.
Shockingly.
So let's dive a little deeper into this, you guys. And then we're going to do more polls throughout. So stay with us. And by the way, I always forget to say this now. There is a schmiveaway at the end, and it is for a Monster Bass gift card. So stay tuned. $25 to the website. Good to anything on there except the subscription, but it is good for the rods, which we'd highly recommend. And there is an ultralight rod that is almost done. We showed last week.
We're just waiting on shipping.
So stay tuned. It's going to happen. All right. So let's break this down. Like, when is it worth it, do you think, to spend up or down? And we're just going to go like categories.
Okay.
I think we'll just go one category at a time. And then end of the show, what we want to do, we'll replace our mid-show segment with like, okay, where do you always go like mid to high tier pricing? And where do you always go cheap?
Yep.
You're like totally cool doing cheap. Okay, so right off the top, I wanted to hit plastics. So everyone in chat, do you tend to lean? And Chaz, we can do a poll on each of these. We can fly through them. We'll do like short polls, all right? So plastics, you go to the 14 aisles at Bass Pro for plastics.
Zoom trick worm or what's like
Berkeley Power Bait Max Scent, $10 for 6. Nico Baits, Craws 5-pack for $15. So are you leaning on the expensive plastics or are you underspending? You're like, I'm just gonna bang out these worms. Like they're just gonna die. I don't care. I want to what is the 100 count from Zoom? Probably does one, but who's
Big Bite?
Big Bite, the 100 count. You're like,
the mega pack.
I'm gonna take that mega pack for $30.
Yeah.
Right. Where do you go?
I think I'm more
immediately cheap skyrocket.
I'm more on the cheap side.
I think so. I think I'm cheap.
Like mule fishing is
to
cheap.
mid-tier. Yeah, mule's definitely cheap. Even Z-Man, like you get 8-pack for $4.99. It's similar
to
mule.
Such a high value.
And it lasts forever. So if it's Elastec, if it's an Elastec type material, the stretchy durable plastic, whatever, then that is, we'll get to that. Then that is like totally cool because it's gonna last forever. That counts as economy for me. That counts as the cheap brand.
Every time I see an expensive plastic, I kind of wonder why. Like I'm trying to think of expensive plastics that I have the only one
Max Scent
is Max Scent.
Yeah. And it reminds you why every time you just absolutely knock them dead on St. Clair.
But but that's the only one.
Yep.
Everything else, I would drastically prefer cheap.
Chat has spoken. Cheap 66%. You guys missed a little magic there by 3%. Expensive by 33%. So yeah, that makes sense.
G-Crack is yeah. Okay, good. So the Burly said G-Crack as an example just doesn't have the value. There is no value in G-Crack, in my opinion. I understand that they're fun to fish. They do catch fish. But if you catch a big fish, which you're using a big bait, that's wrecked. Because there's not really a good way to rig it. So it's like, RIP, I'm like $2 to catch a fish. I could have caught it with a shaky head.
Dude, the Bellows gill, if you get the large size,
$2.10 each.
You get like 3 baits for $9.99. Like, it's absurd. Yamamoto falls into the more expensive. That's a good call out.
I never pay for that Senko.
For the Yamamoto?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Not once ever.
I don't either.
What the?
I don't gravitate towards the Yamamoto section. I actually gravitate away from it. And people were calling out like Yum Dingers. Great value. Yum Dingers.
The trick worm from Zoom? The fluke from Zoom. Big Bite Bait, BFE, and Smalley Smasher. You could, with those 5 baits, you catch out almost any fish in a lake.
Yeah. 100%. Go cheap on the plastics.
But I do, though, I will say there are some JDM plastics. So like one of them that someone actually was kind enough to send me was a little Topwater Japanese power bait. It's like $12 a pack if you wanted it now. Yeah. There's nothing else like it.
Yeah.
And it's like a little hollow. It looks like the nub of your finger with some like sparkly stuff hanging off it.
I think you sent me a picture.
Caught a bunch of fish on it this week. I get it. I get where you're at, but for me, it's the cheapo. Also, someone asked, it was T Brew Fishing. It says, hey, Paul, what's your opinion of the Cast King Kestrel BFS reel? I'm not going to give you the full breakdown, but I will tell you we're going to film a video, and I will give you
tonight
my opinion of that reel after fishing it for probably 40 hours at this point in that video. So stay tuned to the YouTube channel. Next couple of weeks, that'll drop.
I have put in 4.5, 5 hours on it. It's not even my setup. So I can actually contribute to that one. Yay. All right. Next category, ultralight.
Cheap.
All right. Hang on. Chaz, let's do a poll. So ultralight, if you don't fish ultralight, just ignore this one. But if you do fish ultralight, do we count BFS on this?
Sure.
BFS ultralight. So anything that you're going to slap onto an ultralight setup, whether it's a spinning ultralight or a BFS ultralight, when you're going after those lures, those plastics, the terminal, whatever, what have you, are you going cheap? Cheap is crushing it right now.
I think this is my opinion.
Yeah.
I think this is the most obvious cheap win. The only exception is if you really want, after getting a budget version
and nothing else.
After getting a budget version, I think BFS you could spend up very easily, and there is a good reason to in some cases. Sometimes. But you definitely don't have to. And again, watch the video that's coming out. You'll get our opinion on some value options.
Yep.
I think you get away with murder in both instances, but ultralight is for sure on spinning gear so cheap.
Spinning gear, always go cheap for sure, because you can get tiny jigs, tiny plastics for basically free, and usually like a dozen plus count.
Well,
right?
We've said it: 13 fishing to 5 silver is $50 everywhere you go.
Sub $100 combo,
and then you could get a $50 reel that operates the same as a high-end reel, and you're catching every fish ever.
I'll also say, like, now that I've experienced using like some Euro tackle body baits, versus like Rebel, I'm like, go cheap, man. Like, I have caught so many more on the Rebel Pop R, the teeny popper.
The teeny popper has caught me at least 500 fish
than any other body baits that I have.
The Heddon teeny torpedo.
Yep, got that in
monster.
There too. It's insane.
I love it.
All right, we can call that one off. So cheap dominated. It's currently
I like it.
78%, 22%. All right, love it. Chat is speaking. Currently, we're staying cheap. We'll see if it changes.
You have to define this one. I know it seems definable.
How do you want me to define it?
So the next category is jigs. So the question being, you've got a couple different categories of jig. You've got jigs where it's just a weight molded onto a hook jig, like a Ned rig jig, like a swim jig, but then you've got skirted jigs, and then you've got like a chatter, bladed jig. So
say bladed jigs, not bladed jigs.
Okay.
So and terminals later. So
bladed jigs. Let's do that one real quick.
Okay, fine. Bladed
expensive.
Chat, bladed jigs, chatterbaits. Do you spend up or down? I'll tell you what. I spend up always, and I know I'm gonna lose it. I fully embrace this suck. I'm like, you know what? This $15 that I got kind of on sale Z-Man jackhammer is surely gonna find a home at the bottom of this lake. However, it's gonna catch 5 fish before then. So do you spend up or down? Do you go to the Thunder Chicken, the little Thunder Cricket, the Tungsten? Do you go jackhammer? Or are you like, all right, where's that Z-Man original chatterbait only for $6.99?
It's not only, though. I love those, and I recommend them, and I have many, many, many. But I have Thunder Chickens coming out of my ears.
Thunder Chickens coming out of his ears, folks.
I would like that as a picture.
I got Thunder Chickens coming out.
I imagine just the head, and then it's screaming thunderbolts.
It's got to be the swimmer twitch.
Yeah.
Get the water out of here.
Yeah.
And it's just like
a chicken's head, and he's screaming thunderbolts. I can make that.
I love that we only choose designs that we want to make that nobody would understand. The spider, I'm a frog. Like zero context. No one understands. All right. So people have spoken again. Bladed jigs, expensive. Our first expensive win for the night.
That was slim picking.
74 to 25 somehow. Got a half vote in there somewhere.
All right. So jigs.
Let's go skirted jigs. I'm going to skip the terminal, and Ned's, I'll count his terminal. I'm going to throw that in later. So your skirted jigs, your flipping jigs, your skipping jigs, your swim jigs. Think about all these things. Do you go cheap or expensive? I will say I prefer to go cheap on skirted jigs. And there's a few reasons. One, I learned from an awesome commenter the other day, something I'd never thought about. Not that I didn't know it was possible. Just slap a little braid on those terrible bands. Yeah. And you got a banded jig. You're good. The other reason is jigs, I'm always putting them somewhere that they're all. I want to have like confidence enough to be like, I don't care if I lose it. Like it's going into this brush pile, and it probably won't come out, but if it does, it's coming with a fish. So I'm kind of on the lower end here, and keeping in mind What is the lower end on skirted jigs? What would you call like a low ticket skirted jig?
$450.
Perfect. So I'm thinking like Beast Coast Working Man's swim jig was $3.99. That's a
really
great
nice
jig. Great jig.
All of the Super K jigs
Mhm.
are in the $5 range.
Yep.
And honestly,
They do the friggin' job.
They still slap.
Yeah. So I am of the opinion.
Pig jigs.
Man. Pig jigs. Pig jigs is crushing it. Yeah. If I look at $6 plus on a swim jig, I'm like, I'm out. I'm not doing it.
I don't think I fish enough to claim cheap or
jigs
expensive.
enough.
Yeah.
Or in general fish enough.
Also, yes.
I would say we don't fish enough.
I need to fish more. I don't think I have an opinion on this one.
I'm going cheap. Survey says this might be our highest cheap margin.
Whoa!
If it ends right now.
Holy smokes.
79% to 20%.
Survey says.
The people are with us.
I like it.
I love that this poll takes away 1%. It's just like there's a missing percent. It's 99% poll.
They
Beautiful.
They knew Chaz
the
voted.
missing link.
They knew Chaz voted 4 times, so they took him out.
They delete Chaz every time.
I know. I'm joking.
Get over it. God, stop screaming at each other. All right.
All right.
Wire baits. Now, this is all wire baits. So this is spinner baits. This is your A-rigs, umbrellas. This is your buzz baits. I want to say in general, you go on TW, you go search price high to low or search price low to high.
I'm probably cheap here.
I'm not. I am actually leaning towards expensive on wire baits. And the reason is, one, durability of the bait. Absolutely hugely important, right? Like you're going to get, in my opinion, what I've seen, the thinner wire that bends out on fish on the cheaper baits, and you get a better wire, something that holds up better on a little mid-tier to more expensive. The other thing, you're going to have to replace those skirts a lot. Like I said, on jigs, though, you could just slap some braid on there. You might be good. You might be fine. The thing that gets me the most, though, is cheaper wire baits have the cheapest material blades, which seem to rust in the air by themselves in weeks. And I'm like, I'm losing this.
See, to me, I think you've already gone to a place where you're not really getting a good jig. I think you have to be able to say, like, if it's cheap, you have to be like a good one. So I'm thinking,
okay, define cheap.
Strike King. Strike Kings are all $5.
$7.99. It's $7.99
for
the tour grade.
For the tour grade, yeah, I'm talking.
Which is the better material.
No, I'm saying just like the standard Strike King. They're basement size.
I don't like them.
I do. I
think about solid. The tri-blade buzz bait. Like that price rack is what I'm thinking.
Buzz baits. So I was actually gonna say though, spinner baits. I agree with you. They're trash. Yep. But just standard striking spinner baits are fine. Caught a bunch of fish on them. I have no problem with that.
I'm not saying they won't catch fish. You can't.
No, but
it's not that.
But I run with them.
Yep.
I run with them.
Sure.
I like them. You
should have a middle category, David. I think that's what we're getting at now. It's like, it is 50-50 on the poll too.
We agree. This is
no
middle, because then everyone says middle. You're making yourself. You're making yourself.
I'm with them.
Yeah, but probably. But I don't like expensive, so I'm going to say cheap. How about that? I don't like not on spinner baits, but buzz baits. I'm always willing to spend up on a buzz bait. The difference between a cheap and expensive buzz bait is so big to me. Huge. I'm very much willing to do that.
And I'm sure, and we don't fish them like at all, but A-rigs probably.
No, the Picasso. Some of those. There's some cheap ones that I feel like.
How much was the Picasso? Usually Picasso's
I got
a little more.
I think it was like $8.
Oh,
it was like
on
$8.
sale.
It was like $8 though.
On sale's different.
Still cheap.
But all right, so
I'm going cheap. I'm going clearance rate.
I'll retract my statement, but not go cheap. I'm still going middle. I would definitely be up the middle.
We're only doing middle if you really can't peg it, though. We're gonna try and make ourselves go cheap or expensive.
The thing that I have to think about is when we went shopping for we did a wire baits order.
Just did it,
and we were looking at the Shimano, which was $14.
Oh,
and I had a micro heart attack. So I guess I can't say expensive. So if I'm mid-tier, I am mid, but
based on my pants,
based on my sweat shorts, I am totally mid and don't care because I'm 35. I guess I would say mid, which counts as cheap. Is that cheap then?
I think if you can't say one or the other,
you gotta go.
I think you either have to say like I have no opinion or I
hate cheap spinner baits.
So I think you're expensive.
I'm expensive. Fine. I'm expensive. Yep. All right. Anyways, let's go to the next one. This is fun. I'm having a blast. Topwater.
Expensive.
Top water, you guys.
I feel like there's not a lot of cheap
Poppers,
ones
walking baits. We already said buzz baits, so that's
know.
not counting Topwater.
I
But
there's some cheap ones that I
frogs.
love. I'm not saying there aren't cheap ones,
Yep.
but I prefer the more expensive ones. I feel like
you
like
love the
get what
Rebel Pop R,
I
but
love. It's my favorite.
But wait till you see the Pop X that's downstairs.
Yeah, that dude. There's some. I'm
money.
When it comes to Topwater, I like an. I also will say this about Topwater: they get so much abuse that the cheap ones, when they're cheap, like how many, like if you're gonna get bent out on a treble, it's gonna be on a jerkbait or it's gonna be on a Topwater. So I want the goods, man, and I like it when they have like the really good hooks. That's just such a big deal for me on Topwater and jerkbait.
If you really think about it, like if you're saying use the good hooks, right? Like you have to factor that in when you buy these cheap baits. Oh, because the hooks that come with them are so terrible.
Jerkbaits, I have I have a whole
split rings and trebles,
like a whole section on my wall of just that, because I know that if I get a jerkbait that I like, but it doesn't have the hooks that I want, the light wire, small EWG, I'm swapping them.
Instantly runs better, lands more fish.
Easier to get out, easier to get out of the fit. I'm just
exactly. So
expensive.
I'm definitely expensive.
Yeah, ploppers. Good call.
Plops, dude.
Good call.
It's worth it, and they catch so many fish.
Again, this is all opinion. It's not that, like,
man.
If you told me I only fish Rebel Topwater, I'd be like, respect.
Great.
Good call.
I love the pop.
I get it. I do. I really do. I want to be really clear. It's just because I go expensive doesn't. I'm no judgment.
Chris Shue says the Chapo. Chapo is like, that's mid, right?
I get it. Yeah, it's mid tier. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and totally. I have a Chapo.
Go get a revolver, or else get the hell out. Whatever.
Where's your jackals? Like, I only want jackal Topwaters. All right, so let's keep this going then. We got Topwater, best margin for expensive. Yeah. 81% to 18%. That's awesome. You guys are with us. All right.
This next one, this is a me problem.
This is so interesting too. Crankbaits. Now, jerkbaits are not a crankbait. Yeah, so we're saying just cranks.
Square bill,
shallow, deep divers.
Yeah. Expensive.
Also,
I hate to say it.
It you got to think about it too, is like, if you go to the store, if you look online and you look at the cheaper ones and they make you go, ugh, like that's kind of what it gives me a visceral reaction when I grab some of the Castaics, and I'm just like,
can I give you
wanna use this?
My rationale here?
Sure, go ahead.
Is that of all baits that are out there, I think a crankbait requires the highest degree of engineering. Between the weight,
so much to do.
There's so much between the lip design, the body shape, the body size, the size hook, like all those things actually have a huge impact on how it works. Plus the internals. Is it gonna how hollow? How deep do you want it? It's got the weight transfer system. Is it gonna be loud? Is it gonna be silent? Like, and they have to engineer a unique bait for that one. So I'm like, I don't mind paying up for those.
There's a lot.
And I really do think there's so much to it. Like a topwater bait, though, it's like, what type are you gonna do? And yeah, you might mess around, but everybody knows what makes a good and a bad topwater. Yeah. And it's mostly like fit finish after that. Yeah. So it's like, to me, like when I'm paying up for 13 fishing, I'm paying up for, at this point, the Shimanos. They're nice. I'm paying up for the evergreens. I'm doing it.
To define for everybody, we're talking like $10 plus on a jerkbait.
12. Oh, I'm talking like 10, 12. Okay. No problem.
So on a jerkbait. $10-12 on a jerkbait, $10-12 on a crankbait. So
up to 15 is like where I'm like, oh god, but I'm still probably doing it.
And I feel like
if I only had 5, they would all be over $10.
How many cranks do you lose versus
not that
other
many.
baits?
Not that
like
many.
I don't, and maybe
bank fishing maybe, but
right. And I don't crank. I don't crank from the bank.
All right.
I don't crankbait at the bank. Anyways, it's not like a
typical. You eat all 6 pieces?
No. It's not the.
I just cranked that.
Chaz, can they hear you?
Said. I said it. Don't worry, Chaz. I gotcha.
Anyways, crank that soldier boy. Now what? I don't use crankbaits at the bank. Like, so if I'm using
and I don't care.
A boat,
it catches them.
Well, I know it catches them, but I'm just saying, like, it's one of those bait categories that I don't lose baits in.
No, not really. Yeah, I would agree.
And I might be alone.
I lose few.
Yep. All right. So crankbaits. Oh, what was the poll says? 65-34. So expensive is what chat says. I'm with you guys.
Yep.
I'm there for it. I'm gonna skip this one because we'll come back to it later. Let's go jerkbaits since we're on the topic of these body treble baits. Jerkbaits, expensive or cheap?
I'm expensive for sure. This is the one that I feel probably the most expensive is jerkbaits.
Yeah, I would say there's just such a massive difference from, and we've fished them, the Temu jerkbaits, the Amazon knockoffs, the Jawbone. Remember, I got one for a challenge that we did.
It's the Walmart ones. Like that was
did the Ozark ones.
The Ozark ones from Walmart. That was the only bait that we were like, you can't buy this. You can't buy it. And they they just like bought a Rapala, but they put like cheap stuff on it and a crappy finish, and it fished like garbage.
Huge trebles. It was unbalanced. It sank in a weird way.
It was so bad.
It just wasn't it.
Again, that's probably tied for the most amount of engineering for a bait would be a jerkbait.
Jeremy Martin says, where's the second mortgage category? I'm here for it. I got 95 Vision 110s. I don't have room for this mortgage.
Okay, so Rick was actually asking me this weekend about, hey, for a jerkbait, what color schemes do you...
Oh, yeah, he asked me too.
I told him, and he
said all of them.
He wanted examples, and you know what I sent him? 2 Megabass Vision 110s, and then the 13 Fishing Loco. Those are the colors. Perch,
white.
It was white, but I wanted the purple. I like that a lot.
I got it.
And then bluegill. I sent him the 13 Fishing one too for the 4K bluegill.
I said all of those, and then I added the Berkeley Stunna.
Yeah,
they have a translucent purple and chartreuse.
Oh, dude, I was gonna say some kind of clown. Yeah, some kind of chartreuse light purple. Oh my god, wow! I was gonna ask you,
dude. We should do.
That's hilarious.
We need to do a video where we just take the
blindly
Busby day box. We're gonna open our Busby day boxes side by side.
Oh my god!
I guarantee you, they're all the same baits.
That's hilarious, awesome. Dude. Oh wow.
All right, so where do we land on jerkbaits? We got 77% expensive. I mean, again, like it's gotta do the right thing. Now, don't get us wrong, like we've been on an expensive streak here, but there are plenty of categories where like cheap does as good as the expensive in our opinion. And then there are categories like this where we feel you just can't compete. It's the components, it's the build, like it just doesn't happen. So yeah, it's a bit different. Just saying.
Mid-level has some good ones for sure.
So
all the Rapalas.
All right. Should we do this one or skip that one?
No, skip it.
All right, we'll skip both of those now. Oh no, we'll go to this next one. I want to throw a fun one out there. So specialty fishing. I'm talking you go for muskie. I'm going to count as specialty fishing. If you're doing specifically like trout, if you're going out on the big lakes, if you're going after peacock bass.
Are you saying, am I going on a special trip and I need to go get something? Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm saying if they're native in your area. So peacock bass have moved into Florida, right? And you want to go after peacock and target them. Do you buy something specific for that? And do you spend up on it? Or do you say, I hope they bite whatever everything else
Well, you're saying it's like a small part of your arsenal. So it's like, I'm going to add this in. So what am I going to do?
Like muskie, right?
So this is where
you're going to get the Medusas, or you're going to be like, well, I got this 1 ounce jig. I don't know. Maybe they'll bite that.
This is where I can 100% say I'm going max value.
I like that.
So I cannot say expensive. I will not go up, and I will not go cheap.
Yeah,
I will go highest.
It's not my target species.
I'll get the black max, right? That's what I'll do. I'll get, but I might get the max X. That's what I would do. Sure. I would spend I'd get an LFS, right? Yeah. I would not buy the cheap.
I was talking about the lures, dude.
I know. I'm just saying in general.
I got you. I got you.
Like my concept would be like LFS. Like,
got it. I see what you mean.
So I'm going to spend $100. I'm going to get something good, but I'm not going to overpay. I want every dollar to go as far as possible. Yeah. So like the concept there would be like LFS, SLX. That's what I would end up with. That's the brain decision.
You're like, I'm going into swim baits.
Fly rod, I'm getting a TFO because it's super high value. Yep. So for trout,
it's not insanely expensive. It does everything all the good brands
exactly.
do. Yeah.
But it's definitely not free.
Right.
Yeah.
Fair enough. It's like the S waiver for glide baits.
That's exactly it. Yep, you're on.
Like it's $20-something bucks, which is cheap.
I'd be running an Old Town.
Yeah.
I would spend up, but it's max value. But I would not be running a Hobie.
Fair enough. All right. So it looks like Chad is saying mostly cheap. And again, if it's not, it's pretty close. 59.41, which counts as a tie as far as today goes. It's got to be in the 70s or higher for like a normal split. But yeah, I mean, if it's a minor part of your arsenal, if you're like, I musky fish once every 3 years, like
I'm not borrowing. I'm borrowing.
That's the thing. Is like if you can just make some friends that love to
I'm
do
not-
that. You're like, hey, I really want to hit up Steelhead this year. Like, hook me up.
Yeah.
I'm not getting all that stuff. I don't want it. What's that?
Colors.
Bone and Chrome, says Joshua Simonson, for the Jerkbaits.
Jerkbait, yeah.
Love it. Bone and Chrome.
I like it.
The Bash Brothers.
Yeah.
All right. So let's do this. Let's go with where do you always spend up? You're like, in general,
Yeah.
I do not like cheap things in this category. Like in general, I'm not gonna go to the clearance rack. Like it's not even on my mind.
Yep.
Right. So we'll go
for
one
me,
for one.
It would be like the Jerkbait.
The Jerkbait. Fair, right? And I 100%, I'm on the same page. So let's branch outside of lures.
Yeah.
I think we jump off lures now since we covered those a lot.
Do you want me to go first? Or you want to go first?
Yeah, you can go first.
All right. My first answer, we talked about this for like 4 seconds.
We did before the show.
Was rods.
Yep.
Like,
totally fair.
After having, like, I have experienced, I think there is a lot of even value at the higher end. So rods.
Hooks.
Hold on.
Hooks. Everybody in chat right now is popping off on hooks. Chris Shue says coolers. My dude, you get that Yeti cast iron yet? I'm just kidding. I love Yeti coolers. Yeah. All right. So hooks is definitely one I think we both said. So we'll just take it off the list right now.
Hooks was I was like, yes.
Because what's the difference between a cheap hook and a good hook? An expensive one.
A lost PB.
A lost PB, baby. Like when that treble just folds. Like when you get those cheap Ned rigs, you know, like the hook shank, it just folds up inwards. That is the worst. And you can't use pliers. You're gonna degrade the strength of the hook. So if you bend it back out, that hook's toast.
I will, and
you got to change it.
Yeah, 100%.
So hooks, yes, I agree. Spend up. Get better hooks. Get better trebles. Get all that stuff. So yeah, rods. I'm good with rods. I'd say like the next one for me would be BFS, and I see some people popping off on this right now.
I get that.
I have not used the Dark Wolf though, so I can't die on this hill at this moment. I would have died on this hill 3 weeks ago before you got the Dark Wolf. But when you're saying you can get an $80, which is, you know, typically the price of the Cast King Sapphire.
That's even for any bait caster, $80.
That's great. I mean, it's great.
Pretty cheap.
So $80, I can get a BFS bait caster.
It's better than your reel.
Shut up. The Corrado, aka the Curado.
I'm not going to get into this whole thing. I'll tell you right now, the only reason that anyone should pick the Corrado over the Dark Wolf is if you really want the metal frame, which I totally respect. But it casts better, retrieves better, it's better.
And we think, based on things we've learned from smart people, that it's just the breaking.
In some cases, not with the Corrado.
I don't know.
But with the Kestrel, 100%. And I'll tell you why I know it. Yeah. It'll all be revealed in the tell-all video that's coming out in 2 weeks. I don't want to get into this. But BFS, I will say, in my opinion, I totally understand spending up. It's so much fun.
Yeah.
I actually just spent up yet again. I think it's totally respectable, and you do get a lot. So no shame going expensive on the BFS.
On the rods, I would say I definitely would too. Like on the rods, it's so much better. We had such a tough time early on because we were looking at the $50 to $75 category rods, and like you're gonna tell me there is one now that you found or something. Like how much was the Majestic?
115.
That's technically mid to high, which counts as expensive in my opinion.
Oh, okay. All right.
But like if you're talking sub $100 rods, like they're just not there. Like, they're just not there.
No, I agree. Yeah, I agree.
They're too stiff.
I agree. 100% agree with that.
So yeah,
there's one I found that I'm gonna get $100. 90 actually.
We'll see. All right. Next.
Kayak.
I'm
spending up, obviously.
How has that done for you this year?
Well,
this month.
The 3 years prior was great. Right. I would say here's the thing with spending up on kayaks.
Yep.
The cheap stuff, you will be furious.
So mad.
On a windy day. When you get on big water for the first time. When you're
spinning like a top.
You're
just flying across
the durability is not there. I really feel like, and by spend up, I mean like anything mid or higher. Like you have to hit the mid range or higher.
Yeah.
It's my opinion. You can get now if you're like I have a friend, bluegill fisherman. He's a fly fisherman using air quotes. He just goes out. He just wants to pop bluegills. No talent involved. Throw the thing out there.
Sun dolphin.
Catch the fish. Run your sun dolphin.
Yep.
If you just float in the river, that's totally great.
Yep.
If you are an extreme fisherman, I think you can really make a justification for going expensive.
Yeah, I would say expensive as well. And, having used as many kayaks as we've used, which is, I don't know, couple dozen.
Yeah.
Like between testing them out, doing demo days, borrowing somebody's kayak, buying cheap ones on Facebook. We've done all that stuff. And I still have a $100 mainstream kayak in my garage that, okay, expensive, 82% to 17% for the kayak. That's pretty high margin there. But yeah, I mean, like, we're not even getting into accessories. We're talking about just the kayak.
The boat is where I would recommend people spend their money first.
Yeah. And we've done full episodes on this multiple times, videos and podcasts. There's like 10 on our channel. So you can look up kayak. There's a whole playlist. And you can see we won't even get into any more details on that now. But like just to say that you gotta keep in mind that you are in that kayak on that water. And that could be your life in that kayak's hands. So I would say like it's definitely something I'm gonna spend up on. For too many horror stories. Like if I don't have that stability, I'm gonna be pissed. What did you say, Chaz? You yelled something in my ears.
He said the cheapest, expensive kayak still a cheap bass boat. Michael ended.
Fair.
It's a very cheap bass boat.
This all right, is a cheap bass boat.
What do we got?
I love it. All right, so I'm up.
Roll.
What do we got? I don't know what that means. I'm skipping that. I said kayaks as well. Apparel. Now, what do I mean by apparel? I mean lots of things. I mean the shoes, the shorts, the sun shirts. Like I want a sun shirt that's actually comfortable. Harder to believe, harder to find than you would believe. There are. How much was the Aquaflage, for example?
I think it's $45.
Is that considered? Is $45 for a sun shirt cheap?
Like 80 or 90 for us.
You're thinking of Sims are like $70.
Yeah, those are expensive.
Yeah.
Aftco's,
is that cheap or expensive? Aftco's expensive, right? Yeah. I prefer the Aftco. It's my favorite sun shirt, period. Yeah. Shorts. I like the bird dogs. Those are $70 friggin' shorts. You could wear swim trunks. I mean, you could wear
I had the
regular shorts.
Itchiest butt.
I know. The mesh liner. No, thank you. Bird dogs all day.
I would say in most instances, I'm cheap here.
Yep.
I'm good with a cheap sun shirt. I'm good. Crocs fine.
Going up.
Hat, whatever, don't care. You're going to the Yeezys. I'm good.
I'm going to wear my Yeezys. My foam runners.
I am cheap. I think I am cheap. Okay,
Chaz is the cheapest of cheap. And what he means by that is if you haven't heard him on our podcast before, Chaz prefers to fish barefoot with no shirt on.
You do what you do.
So what apparel do you, I mean, maybe full naked. I don't know. You
gotta pay the tickets for
Chaz fishes
indecent exposure.
Buck naked. That's why he's the man behind the curtain. We can't open the curtain.
I literally can't open it. I'll get in trouble.
You guys want us to get banned?
What's next?
All right. You're up.
Oh.
So I said apparel. Where do you go? And I say
I'll say
Cole's almost done. People are leaning cheap on apparel, I can see. 64%.
Yes.
All right.
Frogs.
Always spend up on frogs.
I'm good with spending up on the frogs.
Define cheap versus expensive frogs.
I think a cheap frog is like the $4 range, $4 or $5 range. That's a cheap frog.
Yep.
There are good ones. Don't get me wrong, but I think like a $7, $8 frog is fine.
Again, you're not grabbing technically. I've heard people really like the
$10
Ozark frog.
Sure, no, I'm not. The reason is
$2.
Yeah, the reason I'm going expensive is the durability, 100%. The quality hook. And then I think this is the biggest thing.
Yeah.
You get a soft frog that doesn't poke a hole in itself and ruin it. That happens so often with cheap frogs, like the really inexpensive knockoffs.
You want it plush, but
it can't hook a hole. It can't hook a hole in itself.
Yeah.
And so I do actually. I think almost all my frogs, with the exceptions of one that I've been given, are more expensive.
Is the Booyah Pad Crasher cheap or expensive?
I think that's a more expensive frog.
Hang on.
Let's look it up.
Survey says Booyah Pad Crasher. I have multiples of these, and I should know it. So
I think
Amazon is
Yeah,
$5.99, but the standard price is about $7.49.
Yeah, I think that's more expensive.
It's a more expensive frog.
But I have that one in all sizes.
Yeah.
I have that one in all sizes, and I have the brown one in all sizes.
They can't see what you're pointing.
I know, but I have I have 3 different versions of the pack crasher. I have all of them in all sizes.
Yeah. Yeah. Spro, the big Gabbo, the T silent, everybody.
It's just my preference. I get it.
Tackle's definitely expensive. My God.
Oh wow. Whoa.
73% expensive to 26% cheap. Percent. I'm with you guys. I love it. All right. Next up, I said was shades. Now,
this is a good one. Good call.
You guys want to know why I say expensive?
Don't say this. Don't say this.
I don't have a choice.
That's stupid.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'll choose to see.
No,
better.
I get that, but like, what's your?
Okay, two reasons. One, because I can't see, so I have to get scripts. They're automatically $1 million. Go
on.
Second reason, though, is there is a massive difference. One, the actual polarized film, the cover, the coating of that lens. Is it a film? Is it a coating? Is it properly done? Here's Paul knows because he has this. When you guys get those cheaper polarized lenses, you start to get the shadow effect where it's like radiating out.
Because it's just rubbed off.
It's just they rub off. And I had this, I used to get this pair of
Shady Rays are cheap. That's like the cheapest sunglass on the market.
How much are they?
Go look them up. If they give you 2 for 1, it's cheap. Shady Rays.
Oh, you got to factor in the 2 for 1. Shady Rays are, those are $50. So I'm talking about those. I'm talking about blenders. I'm talking about
under 100.
Everything
honestly,
you can buy at the grocery store or the gas station.
Anything under 80, 90 for sure.
Even under, for cheap,
yeah,
under $50. Yeah, like $50 is.
I think even $80 sunglasses to me are going to be cheap sunglasses. Until you break 90, I don't think you're getting a good pair of sunglasses.
Yeah, and I'm thinking that too. Like around 100 plus, I'm always spending that up.
Yes.
And it's just like it's not going to last. So let's say you did this. I used to buy a ton of those sunglasses that were $50. I had blenders. I had what is this? I had this the fire and ice combo we used to do. Always cheap sunglasses for that because that's just for funsies. But yeah, blenders and Gooder, which I think your wife runs with Gooder sometimes.
All the time.
All the time. So those. They melted on my face just from like sunscreen, bug spray, whatever. They just fall apart. Those, none of them ever lasted. So,
but my expensive sunglasses will last for like 5 years.
Ever, unless I lose it.
And they're good the whole time.
Yeah. Like I have all my water lanes. Every single pair of
I have a pair of Costas that were
Costas
like
last
8 years,
forever.
8 years old, and they were polycarb.
I have a pair that is almost 8 years old as well. Like I spent up on the Costa. I think it's a Rhine.
We're gonna get wrecked in the. Not wrecked, but it's not a win. It's this one is medium.
What? Oh, 60 to 39%. 60% say expensive. 39% say cheap. And I mean, again, totally fair. Especially if you don't have to deal with scripts. But even beyond that, like I don't know, maybe you just. You like ZZ Top cheap sunglasses.
It's all good.
I don't know.
I get it.
Whatever you like, man. That's cool. But for me, it's a no-go. I've spent under too many times. It just does not work. Yeah, Michael M laughs in $700 prescription sunglasses. He's not kidding. That's how much prescription sunglasses cost. If you want Costas, if you want Oakleys, best of luck on your second mortgage. I don't know. Lots of people probably. Nobody, not one person owns a pair of Oakleys.
Just only people who work at Oakley.
Chat, who has a pair of Oakleys on like right this second?
Say it with your chest.
Say it with your chest.
What else you got? What's next?
I have Oakleys and regret nothing. See, Michael M. That's what I'm talking. I called it, man. That's the prescription, man. All right. So I said shades. What's your next one?
Kayak accessories.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God. So life vest, paddle.
Always.
All of the things that go on, like Yak Attack. I'm expensive.
Yeah, the gear track, all the attachments, all of those things. You have to because
you don't have to, but I am.
Well, I have to. I have to.
I think you will. I think
holds up.
A net. Don't go cheap. You will regret. Never heard of her. You will regret. I guarantee you'll regret it.
A cheap net? Yeah.
No, absolutely. a cheap kayak accessory. At some point, you'll be like, why did I do this?
Mm-hmm. Gear retractors, just any attachment for sure. Rod holders, I just threw them in the water. Like I had him just snap off on me. Chaz, what do you got? You better unmute yourself. He goes, all right, I will.
Christopher Shue said, sunglasses off of Timo have to have an awesome song.
Sunglasses on Temu. What is this Temu you talking about? If it's not that song, I'm not buying them.
Nope.
You guys, did you watch? If you saw the previous Temu shopping, Chaz, you kept it in the one song on one of them that like made me sick, like viscerally.
Oh god,
ill.
yeah. I was like, yeah.
There was a song that was so it was offbeat, it was chaos, it was
really, it was like 3 songs playing at once. It was horrible.
And it was advertising cheap sunglasses. So I'm just saying. Anyways, all right. So other than that, I want to say this last one.
Okay.
So the last one we said was line, fishing line. Do you spend up on that, or
But
do you
this
spend
one's
down?
I think this
We're
is you
up.
I think you just can't go cheap.
I mean, you can,
No,
but
can't.
should you?
No, I just don't go cheap. Anything under
It's kind of like hooks, right?
anything under
everybody
Power
said
Pro?
hooks. Yep.
No. With hooks, anything under Trocar? No.
Yep.
Don't do it.
You're gonna lose fish. That the big thing for me is like, am I gonna lose fish? Is it like a guarantee I'm gonna lose fish on this? Isn't it worth it if my braid's not snapping all the time?
Jim made a good call. You do need cheap line. You do need cheap mono for backer. So good call, but that's not what we meant.
So you can go, think braid, think fluoro. The most often expensive stuff. It's the line that's more expensive to make. It's the line that's more engineered. Like mono is just, it's mono. I'm with you, Jim. I don't give a heck about mono. Oh, yeah, because I also don't spool up my whole spool with it. So maybe I'm indifferent to that. But mostly we use braid to fluoro. So for us, braid fluoro, expensive line, is worth
I'm doing it.
Because I've bought the cheap fluoro that frays. I bought the cheap fluoro that just breaks on its own.
It's a no.
It's not worth it. All right, so 77
wow.
to 22%. That's what I'm talking about. All right, so expensive. And again, great. If you get away with the cheap stuff, if it works for you, if you're honest about it and it truly works for you, because there are some.
Well, no, some people wouldn't even know. If you've not done it, how would you know? This is the thing with rods.
That's a great point.
If you've not used for a full day, like a whole day of fishing, catching a dozen fish or whatever, if you haven't used a $250 rod at least once, your opinion means less to me because you can't know how the difference is so huge for a $200 rod than a $100 rod, and some people never even use $100, which is fine. But to say like never go up, I would trade 5 rods at $50 or $100 for one $250 rod.
Once you've used it, it makes sense.
I really think it's worth it, and I would not say that for reels. So that's something really important to say: is reels is a category that I would never go all the way up on. I have some that are more expensive. I have nothing in that high tier. And I recommend stuff for people that's in the $150 to $200 range. 100%. I've used gobs of different ones. I've just gone out and spent my own money to have an opinion on that price range.
Yep.
And I think that's where people should be. I do think it's worth spending up there, but nothing above that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm in the same place. Anytime I've spent under 100 on a reel, I've been like a little more disappointed. And anytime I've spent over $200 on a reel, I've been like, this is fine. So, I mean, have I used a Diawazillion though?
I get it though. Like, no, it's not that the good's not good.
Yep.
I'm not saying that at all.
Yep.
But I think like, where do you have to spend up?
Ooh.
I recommend, I recommend people spend up on rods. I don't think you'll regret it. With a reel, if you bought a Metanium, for example, you spent $500 on it, and you couldn't get 4 other quality LFSs, I would be disappointed.
Yeah, so Jeremy Martin did that, and he also says, I get a similar performance out of the Chronarch, which is like, what, $100 less or something?
Yeah, and some people have said the Chronarch, like, SLX with a couple upgrades gets you to the Chronarch status. I guess my point is that the $100 to $200 range has so many options I really don't think you need or should spend up.
Fair. Totally
it's fun,
fair.
like, do it, but generally, no.
All right, so I think it's time for the schmiv.
The schmiv-away.
All right. So we're going to do our schmiv away here pretty soon, Chaz. Hold your dang horses. Everybody, you're always quick on that trigger, bud.
You already rolled it 3 times.
Did I win? Did you win? Everybody won.
We are all Scott Vermonter.
We are all Scott and his name was Scott Vermonter. All right, so we're gonna just start chatting, y'all. If you haven't been here before, make sure that you say something in chat at this point. I don't care if you've been watching the whole time. You got to say something now,
and then you're entered to win.
And then you are entered to win. And all you have to do is stay here. Don't go away like some people have made the mistake of doing. And then after we do a couple fun questions, we're going to do the roll and then we'll call you out. You got to give us your details. We'll hook you up with that $25 Monster Bass gift card. All right. Do you want to do this or do you want to do this stuff?
I go cheap.
All right. So here's what we're going to do for Slow Rolling Thunder. Just to go with the theme of the day, we're going to talk about when would we always lean cheap. So what would you lean towards cheap on? And chat, you can keep popping off on there. Make sure you type something in and feel free to throw in where you will always underspend if you can. If it's not possible, it's not on the table for this. But where would you go?
I think weights.
100%. The amount of weights that I have immediately lost, broken.
Yeah.
Lost in my truck.
And I feel bad about it.
Lost in the water.
I don't want to leave it in the water. But yeah, man, I'm down.
I lose them more places than in the water.
Yeah, man, I'm down spending for sure.
It's such a pain in the butt. How many times have you guys gone to Rig of Texas and it's been a long day and you slide that weight on and then you go to tie the hook and then you drop the line and the weight is disappeared, disintegrated.
Another one.
Too many times.
Like just fishing bags in general. Like little, like I'm totally cool with, like I bought my son the cheapest fishing satchel.
The Weekender bag, the Plano.
It's way cheaper than that. It's like the Bass Pro Shops knockoff. Yeah, that size thing. I want
the bag to carry your tackle boxes, just like your day bag.
I just need something with a couple pockets and some handles. We're good.
So we did do reviews on it, very expensive bags, but I mean, there's other bags that you can definitely get away with just fine.
100%.
If I can get Samurai Tackle on sale at Dick's Sporting Goods,
I'm good.
I will. I'll be happy. I don't need something super fancy.
Yep.
Yo, Chris Shue with the super chat. Thank you so much, my friend.
Dang.
Says styrofoam minnow buckets,
Word.
Baby.
Word.
I'm with you, dude.
Word.
If it's holding the bait for the fish I want to catch.
I would say
I don't care.
that goes for honestly like bobbers, bobber stops.
Yep.
All that kind of stuff. Like pegs.
It's like tertiary terminal tackle.
I'm good, man. It's just, it is what it is.
It's a tertiary terminal tackle.
Yeah, I think so.
The triple T,
what else?
if you will.
What do you go cheap on? What do you always spend down on?
Sunscreen. Somebody just called it.
No!
I'm just joking.
Oh, yeah, burn big sunscreen. But yeah, I'm not going cheap on sunscreen.
I love it. What am I, man? So obviously, I think I talked about it a little bit earlier. Like I wouldn't go cheap on like say terminal jigs. Except like if I can get a decent hook, like a belly weighted hook, really? Underspin, like
really,
yeah, I'll lean towards the cheap on that. It just like, I mean, if it's a lead molded jig, I just want the good hook. Like if there's a decent, and sometimes you can get away with that. You can get cheaper options for that type of terminal.
Yeah. Right.
You don't have to get the owner flashy swimmer, right? There are cheaper options. So I mean,
crappie jigs.
Crappie jigs. That's a good one. Anything panfish.
Crappie plastics. Yeah.
Like all the panfish stuff. Those plastics. I'm good. And like when you get the cheap ones too, you get like 30 counts.
Yeah, I'm good.
Like I think this will last me a while.
I'm very good on that.
So I would definitely say that.
Roll the giveaway and then we'll think of a couple.
Yeah, roll the giveaway, Chaz. Who's it gonna be? So you do it. He did it. Chanel T.
Oh,
Chanel T. Yeah. Hey, what $1 inline spinners?
She's here.
Chanel T, congrats. Make sure you follow the instructions on the screen, please, and then we'll hook you up. Also, you did just chat, so I'll totally count that. You can also say, hey, hi. Oh, snap.
She's over 30.
I love it. All right, so yeah, Chanel T, absolutely congrats. We'll get you that $25 Schmidt card here real soon. Just get that info over to Chaz. We'll take care of you. Where else would you go cheap?
Ultralight rods.
mono. We already said mono.
I think, well,
ultralight rods, yes. And that's like we purposely wanted to make our rod at a certain price point that was well under $100.
Good, but like not expensive.
Like you want to be in the mid to upper tier with that, I feel, because then we can do more with the rod. We can make it better. But
I agree.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Get away with murder.
I don't want to spend a lot on ultralight rod.
No.
And I'll still be the absolute living tar out.
Yeah. We already talked plastics. We said cheap there.
We did say cheap.
What about are there any hard baits that you don't care about? Like going
not really. Like with the hard baits, we talked about it. It's the engineering for me, man. I want it to be like I think you can get away a lot more with a popper maybe than something that actually needs to run in the water.
Yep.
So I could be with
popper.
that. Rebel popper, but I've also gotten some terrible Lunker Hunt Impact series.
That will change your mind about cheap baits.
If you think cheap is awesome right now, go get the Impact series. Enjoy yourself.
Yeah.
Never loved it. Have not had fun with it at all. Yeah. What about spiders? Do you go cheap on spiders? I'll tell you what.
You don't have to go expensive.
You don't. Those things are always on clearance now. So anytime I see it on clearance, it's like $6. I'm like, technically, we just counted that as a more expensive frog, didn't we? So I guess expensive.
Oh, yeah, maybe.
Never mind.
What about stringers? I just buy the Eagle Claw cheapo wax stringer.
Yep, 100%. What about like hook retrievers?
Don't even
lippers.
Use them. Don't use
if I was like, gun to your head, you have to buy a lipper. Absolutely, right?
What about scales?
Fish grippers.
What about scales? I'm on the high end.
You have to go high end, and even then, it's right there.
I know.
There were Apollo scales, $60. You get it on sale for $35. It's absurd. Yeah, I guess I would
spoons.
Go more. How often do you fish spoons?
Exactly. I don't know. I think I'm
gonna go cheap on spoons.
I'm trying. Baits is hard.
My dad has given me hundreds of Daredevil spoons.
Yeah.
And I have no use
for it. Baits are hard.
They're cheap.
It's hard for me to think. There's not a lot of baits that I'm like, go for
It's the look, the reliability, the durability, the just general your first impression, which is like all you guys get from us on unboxings anyways. It's like
swim baits. They make cheap swim baits.
What cheap swim baits?
I'm for sure going expensive.
Expensive always.
I'm sorry.
Unless Chaz is chiming in our ear right now. If you say cheap swim bait is $20 to $35, then I guess yes. Like I would say we are cheap on swim baits because every time Brown Bait Co. sends us a message and he's like, "Hey, bro, you should totally get this new swim bait. It's a little expensive," and then I look at it and it's $120, then yes, I'm not going expensive on swim bait.
I still think I'm mostly going up, especially for the soft plastic ones.
You're not going up though. You're up on swim baits is $30. You're like, no, trash fish. I think higher than fine, that. I'll get the trash fish.
I think that.
You're gonna spend $60 on a swim bait?
I would rather.
The Buka Bowl shot is only $45.
All right. What's
the the Catch Co.
Is that it?
Branded ones.
Is that our last?
I think so. I can't really think of too many other gas station snacks.
Premium. Super premium.
You're always spending up? I'm always spending down, you guys. Gas station snacks, bottom of the barrel. Let's go. Except for that fruit pie. You got that one time? Your fruit pie was terrible. No, bottom shelf, everything. Give me that.
Up for Brown Bait Co.
Flauta.
Spending up is $350 on swim baits. Wow, he says.
See? I told him. I tried to tell him. He's not listening to me. It's fine. Anything else you would go cheap on?
I don't think so.
No, I don't think so either. So there you have it. Cheap versus expensive. That was a blast. I love doing these polls.
It's fun.
If you guys like this, comment below. Let us know. Make sure you smash that like. You ring that notification bell because I'm sick and tired of people being like, I never get the notifications anymore.
That's your own fault.
Dude, click the notification bell and make sure that your email isn't sending it to spam. We appreciate you guys. We love you guys. And we got a members only coming up next week, 2 weeks.
17th.
Oh yeah, we had so many things. So we're iCAST, July 4th weekend. Like we got stuff in the way. Sorry. Members, we'll see you in a couple weeks. That's gonna be awesome. Everybody else, 18th. Thank you. Everybody else will be back next Wednesday. And maybe we keep these, like I said, if you guys like the polls, if you like this interactive stuff, I'd love to do this more if you do. Go to your own office next time. And we'll see you guys all next week. Okay, love you. Bye, Chaz. Take us out.
Took a swing at a wrecking ball and I prayed for my downfall, and I found a way to reconcile, 'cause in my heart it's not worthwhile. It's a bloody battlefield where some go down, others heal. In the end it's all the same. All you can do is play the game. Oh, do we say goodbye?